Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. I'm Pat Baer. Um, ISK is auto hosting the stream. That's very nice. Thank you very much. Hey, Smash Mouth, you're in the chat. Hello. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave emote in there. If you're a subscriber, give me the Bear Cave emote. Let me know you're here. Waffles throwing the Bear Cave emote in there immediately. I'm going to throw the Lego emote, which only right now one person is at the $10 a month tier, and they can use the Lego emote besides me. Iron Souls, who only watches on VOD. So, hi, Iron Souls. Thanks for watching. And thank you for joining me. We're going to wait for a few more people to join us before we dive in to finishing our model kit here. For some reason, the gold is reacting negatively to our green screen on this kit. But basically, we're going to build the backpack and the very large sword for this kit. And then we'll move on, and we're going to do some Lego. We've got the Jakku Quadjumper, which is not a particularly well-known or well-discussed model kit or Lego kit, from the movies, but looks really cool, and I'm excited to build it. It's got some brown in it, and most Star Wars kits that we've built here for Lego are a lot of black and two different kinds of gray. So to mix that up, I'm looking forward to. But yeah, we'll wait and see if a few more folks want to join us here in chat before we get going. I hope you're doing well on this Saturday night. The temperature dropped a little bit here in New York, which is great. But my voice is still scratchy and bad, which is a bummer. So that sucks. Other than that, doing okay. Hopefully, I won't be coughing too much during the stream. But yeah, all right. Let's go look at our figure here. We'll go main here. Great. So we don't have left to build. We've got to build the backpack. We've got to build the tail whip weapon, and we got to build the big old bulky sword. This kit is got for a main kit. It's looking really cool and dark and kind of animalistic, demonish. I'm really enjoying that. So we'll put it aside. You can see that up there while we build. And yeah, I'm still toying with the lighting here. For those who didn't watch on Thursday, I now am dual monitoring, and I have two monitors, which means that the placement of my lights has changed a bit. Johnny's going to go around and get some food, Smash Mouth over there, which is well within his rights to go do that. So we'll be here when you get back, Johnny. Yeah, so I'm playing with the lighting a bit. I have to and it's not right. It's not perfect yet. Green screen stuff is, it's tricky. Balancing all of that is pretty tricky. Where I put my camera 2, camera 1, I'm figuring it all out. But basically, what happens is, as you might have noticed, when I put my hand in front of my face and block any light possible, it doesn't do a great job. So I've got to play with the light some. I think I need a stronger bulb, which is like behind the screen or behind the monitor. I'm working on it. Anyway, let's build this backpack. I clipped all the parts out ahead of time because I like to warm up my hands. Those of you here in the chat know that I like to get my fingers going a little bit because I built on Thursday, but still, I like to clip out a bunch of parts before stream so that I can get some stuff done. All right, so this is gonna go. This backpack goes on the, not surprisingly, goes on the back of our kit. What we got going on here? Will Smith is hosting the stream. Thank you, Will, for that. Very nice. Another thing that I have to work on is stabilizing the monitor on that right now. This webcam here, hello webcam, you're right there, is on one of my monitors because the usual stand I was using doesn't work with what I've got set up right now. But it's a little flimsy and not as secure as it should be, so it wobbles a little bit, which I don't like. So I am going to figure out a solution for that. because that's not good. But couldn't figure it out between Thursday and today. So we'll keep working on it. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday evening. Oops. All right, so get our tools out here. We connected these pieces without without putting in a part that we need. So we will go into our toolkit here. This toolkit is generally will be used for fixing iPhones or other smartphones, but we make use of it. Many of these tools here as separators and splungers and all that. Spongers, I should say, and all that, because they work really well for what we're trying to do here, which is often pretty delicate, as you know. These are thin pieces of plastic that are snapped together that aren't necessarily meant to come apart again. And so putting a wedge in there is sometimes all you got to do, but you have to be careful with it. And then let's see if I can just slide this piece in like it was supposed to be. Great. Cool. And this is our tail. Right now we can attach it like this, and then we can attach it to the back of our kit. I've watched a bunch of Iron Blood Orphans. I never finished it. This is probably my favorite from the show, and yeah, I think it just looks cool, and he's got this kind of tail thing going on back here, which is weird. It's a weird thing. All right, so let's build. Now we're going to attach a piece of rubber to this to act as a wire, but we'll do that in a moment. Let's build the big old sword right now. If you're building anything, I always say this, if you're doing any model kits, you're doing any building, you can always send me photos on my Twitter. Let me know you're working on anything. If there's anything you want to chat about tonight, I'm always up for having a conversation. I have a couple things that I want to chat about, but I follow the chat as well. So if you want to pop in there, or if you just want to watch and you don't feel like chatting, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Sometimes folks just want to hang out. They don't want to say anything, and that's totally fine, and I get it. Sometimes I don't want to say anything. Okay, so we got there, and then we need H1 and H5. We had done very little with H up until this point, but it is where all our weapon pieces are for our big old sword here. Call this a sword is kind of a misnomer. It is just it's like a pointed mace, pretty much. Nonsense. ZJ, are you liking this kit? Was debating this or the vidder. Waffles should be building his Labo kits, but you're lazy. Hey, it's a Saturday night. Sometimes you got to be lazy. So, ZJ, I do really like this kit. Part of it is because I love the animalistic kind of like the claws and like the legs, and they're very pretty unique. Most of these kits are humanoid. This is certainly humanoid-ish, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like an animorph kind of thing, or a manimal type of deal. It's anthropomorphized is the word I was actually looking for. And I'm really into that. I appreciate that as far as kits go. Also, Harold's hosting. Thank you very much, Harold. One thing I do like of this, ZJ, about this kit in particular, is that it's the first full metal or full mechanics I've ever built. We've talked about this on the stream, but this is your first time hearing about the name of this kit, basically the idea is that it's a 1/100 scale, which normally the master grades are. And hello, Drew, throwing in the Bear Cave emote there. Normally, this style of kit, this scale would be a master grade, but this isn't really a master grade. It's more like It's more like a high grade. So it's pretty odd. It's pretty odd, I would say, stylistically. But it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. It was fun to build, and We're almost done with it, obviously. We're finishing up the last couple pieces here. And then this goes... Oh, that goes inside. Okay, I'm going to separate this then. I messed up a little bit here. I think I can do this without the wedge. Yeah, I can do this without the wedge. I was supposed to put this in. That makes sense. So it sticks up, but it's not coming out. It's not a missile. It's a spike. That makes sense. So this can, like, you can raise and lower this piece here. It's kind of cool. All right. Now we can put this on a hand, and we can put it on a stand. We'll build the stand first, and then we'll build a hand. Hand and stand. We won't do a handstand, though. No handstands on stream. Yeah, it's a pretty laid-back Saturday for me. I did a lot of writing and emails and planning for a few events that have coming up. Nothing major. Just working on some stuff. Took it easy mostly, which was really nice to do now and again. Saturday is my Sunday, I like to say, because I work on Sunday nights. So this is like the end of the weekend for me. It's very fun to spend part of that doing this here with y'all. It's very relaxing. You know, there's a lot of setup, and I am on and working and doing all that, but it's enjoyable. I really do enjoy streaming, so it's nice to be able to pop in with y'all and chat. All right, so yeah, so there's a stand basically to hold this thing because this kid is not going to be able to hold up this big old sword because it's a very big sword. Johnny says, I don't have any good pics of my recent build since my phone with the good camera broke, but I built the Android 18 kit. Very happy with it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I put a few my Amazon wish list, which obviously I normally link to, and I'll link to in the chat, in the middle of the episode. I put up a few more of those kits. I like to build another one. It was fun to build Krillin. It was fun to build Goku, Blue Goku. That was nice, but I wouldn't mind building another another one because they were pretty fun. All right, so let's take the hands off that we have here, and we're gonna put on. We're gonna pop off these hands. I'm gonna take this down. We're gonna catch these hands, and we're gonna put on other hands. I think I'm just gonna try to keep this standing up. This thing I don't think is going to stand up too well when I try to have it hold the weapon, but we'll see. So we'll take these kind of clawish hands. You can see them there, and we're going to put those aside. And then we're going to build some other hands. All right. I do like the. You can tell, like, obviously these are the hands that are meant to hold things, but you can see that they still have it look like claws, or the claw parts of it. And I appreciate that detail. So, be like this. There is a little spot. There's a little spot here for the sword to link into the hand. Though it doesn't look to be super stable. We're going to go ahead and take the this tail piece off. We're going to do something with it anyway. So we might as well take that off for a second while we attempt to connect this weapon to a hand, which is easier said than done. Okay, so that goes like that. Let's go with that. Yeah, if you got any questions for me, anything you want to chat about, we'll certainly talk about that. It was interesting, Johnny. I saw that you on Twitter mentioned how you were interested in watching Dragon Ball. It didn't look like there was a legal way for you to do that outside of buying a bunch of media, which is a shame. I could see why that wouldn't be streaming anywhere. But yeah, that's a bummer. That's a fun, terrible series. It's not terrible. It's very much of its time. It's a very old show, and very much of its time. Yeah, so even with this stand, this sword, like, This is barely working out here. I'm going to move this a little bit so you can all see. Whoops. This is troublesome. That, because it's just a very big, stupid sword and heavy. I had it for like a moment, but I don't expect it to. Yeah, this is like so top heavy. It's such a big weapon. All right, that kind of worked. I'm gonna leave it alone for a second. Yeah, this is a ridiculous thing. It's like part of the idea of it. I do like that about Iron Blood Orphans. It's so much of Iron Blood Orphans is just like, we're doing our best. Like, we'll figure it out. We've got ideas about how to make this work. We're just gonna have big old weapons, almost construction like style weaponry. I do appreciate that. Okay, so the wire goes into. Oops. Take a piece off the back here. And then, Ah, I see. I see. You gotta bend the cable here on the back of it, and then when the good bend, when you pull it through, it'll kind of lock it in place. And then you can attach that wire here, this part, and then, which is basically just giving it the idea of a kind of like a tail, but also that you can shoot this out and it'll fly places and do things, is the idea. Yeah. Yes, Iron Blood Orphans is like, we're going to make the best of it. We're going to do what we can. We're going to do whatever we can. Let's try this out. That kind of a thing. Oops. Which just popped off. The pelvis. Pelvis pop off. Alright, yeah. So it's got this thing too. It kind of does whatever it does. This kit is impractical. And what popped off? The back piece here. I mean, this is my overall take on full mechanics and real grade, is that it's like they are certainly a step below master grade. ZJ says that IBO might be your favorite Gundam series not based on the UC era. Huh. Yeah, I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched a lot of it. And I really like what I've watched. I should probably binge that show. Yeah, so this kit is unbelievable and ridiculous. And that's it. It's done. We did it. Also you can pull out blades here somehow. Can't remember how to do it. It's like something like I don't remember. There's like a thing you can do. And you can also like put this flying thing on the stand too if you want to, pose it like it's flying. People can watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I think Char's Revenge holds up, but it is hard to watch. I think the original is incredible, unbelievable for its time, but I don't know if it holds up today. I don't know if any of those series hold up there. I don't even know if Wing holds up. I haven't gone back to Wing since the mid 2000s, so 10 years, like more than 10 years ago since I watched Wing, which is my favorite Gundam show. And I don't know. I just don't know if any of them are going to hold up. All right, anyway, this is our big old giant stupid kit that we built here, which I'm going to now separate the hand here. Take the hand off. So we can put that there. We're going to put our leg back on. Oops. Okay, great. Zeta still holds up oddly? Huh. Yeah. Yeah, Drew, I think you can go back to it. I don't know if you can start fresh with it. All right, so we're going to put our kit back in the box here. I rarely do this on camera, so I'll do that today. But yeah, I mean, I'm just basically, trying to lay it down as best I can, lay out everything, and then for shipping purposes, this is just for that because I'm going to take a photo after anyway, so I don't have to do a lot here. But for shipping purposes, I usually lay everything as flat as possible, and then I film in with bubble wrap or packing, because I'm always getting new kits, so I always end up with the packing bags, the bags filled with air that they send, that Amazon uses, and I save them. I have a big bag full of them, and I'll pack this in as best I can by putting bubble wrap in the inside, and then also whatever dead space is in the Amazon box that I'm reusing. And it seems like pretty good. People seem to get their kits well. People seem to be getting the kits that I send out, and it seems to not be a problem, which is great. I've heard somebody had to repair some stuff. Some stuff broke apart. I'm better at it than I was. But yeah, we got about an hour left of the stream. Pardon me for that. So it's time to build a Lego set. So let's switch over to the Jakku. Let me get that where I need to go with that here. This is the Jakku. I've got bag here. I've got Ray, and I've got some dude who I can't remember anything about here. We've got some decals. We're going to try to use our decals. We're going to use our we were going to use one of our spongers here to help with that. So we'll put that aside, because we can probably going to need that later to get our decals on. And I've got a bag to put the extras, because Lego likes to have extras, which is awesome. And we got Ray here, ready to go. Excited to build this kit. And of course, our handy dandy separator, which these brick separators, I have so many of these by now. I have a drawer with a bunch of them in there. It's been a long time since you built some Legos, Drew. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a little while here. And I saw this kit and was just like, yep, I'm going to build this. Really tiny Lego sets. Yeah, so this is a 457-piece set. I have knolled the box, which now we are going to, I'm going to transfer my work off the box. As you know, I like to knoll the bags ahead of time, which is just separating by color and then separating by shape within that color. It's always important. It makes things a lot quicker. But I couldn't do this on the table because we were still building our kit. So I did this off camera ahead of time, and then I'm just kept it on the box, and now I'm transferring it over. But yeah, I'm just going to have my colors kind of separated. So even though it won't be neat and clean, I'll be like, gray. Okay, I just have to look over here. And that way you're not digging into a bag. And there's a couple colors that there's only a few pieces of. So I'm going to slowly transfer these over right now. And then we'll be ready to build. Once again, we have two colors of gray, a light gray and a dark gray, as well as black, because this is a Lego Star Wars set. So you're going to find a lot of that. There's some weapon stuff here. I had minifigs I built ahead of time just because I wanted to. It's my kit. I'm going to build it how I want to build it, and the order I want to build it. And then we've got some dark gray stuff to build here. And I like separating those out. Lets me kind of keep a clear head, be able to see them a little better. Because on our kit, on the sheets, sometimes the light gray and dark gray look very similar to me. So being able to separate those is very important. And some of these are like, these are really silver. They're not dark or light gray, but I just put them there. And yeah, so this will be a couple streams worth. There's 400 something pieces here. It'll take a little while to build it all together, but it's going to turn out awesome. Looking forward to it. It's just a cool looking kit. I mean, you can see it here. I bought a tiny Lego dog the other day. That is a very cute dog. That's 68 pieces. Let me ask you a question, Johnny. How long did that take? 68 pieces. Which are, I mean, obviously sub like an hour, right? Like, I'm gonna guess like 45 minutes, half hour, something like that. Let me know how long it took. I'm only a judge on kits based on how long it takes to do. While I'm also like chatting with y'all, to pay attention to what's going on in there and messing up here and there, and you know, my focus is often pretty split. So let me know how long it took you to put that together. 68 pieces. Probably not that long. It's going to be my guess. Anyway, it's time to build, so let's get building. Our bags here. Built that. We need one black, these, something like that. And not much time. Much more than half an hour. That's good to know. Yeah, and I asked because we've talked about this on here, and so I'm fine with chatting with you about it, but my thought is not much more than half hour. So the thing that I've been thinking about doing for what's this? Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, a thing that I've postulated in my head that would be fun to do for PAX West this year would be to do Build with Bear Workshop as a panel, and it would be like a competitive Lego building show. Where everyone got the same kit, and one round would be just like building it, and then once you built it, you could move on to round 2, which was like the idea would be that you would the round 2 would be like decorate it, like everyone would have the same bags of decorations. So I'm trying to figure out like what base kit I would get, and 64 pieces a half an hour, that sounds about right. Like I'm thinking 50 to 60 pieces is probably what I would want for something like that. Because what I wouldn't want is to get something so complicated that people didn't get a chance to even decorate it at all. And I would be fine with having it so they didn't get to do much decoration around 2, the creative license part. I would be fine with that being something that was short. But I still wouldn't want it to be like, well, we're done with our hour and no one finished building anything. That would be very disappointing. But also maybe entertaining. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. I still don't know if I'm going to do it or not, because I don't think that I can handle producing 4 panels at PAX West. So that would mean that if I was going to do Build with Bear Workshop as a panel, that I'd be letting go of one of my other panel ideas and like rotating it out. And that's a little frightening to think about for me. Not doing one of the things that, like, you know, brought me to the dance just so that I could do something else. I don't know. I have to think about it. There's plenty of time. I have plenty of time to think about that stuff. But I am, you know, I'm putting some thought into it, seeing if that's something I would do. But I've talked about it on here, and I do think it's a really good idea. I do think that there's something interesting to that, and I think it would be a very entertaining panel of watching like game industry personalities quickly building Lego, and me like hosting and doing some interview stuff and talking about what was going on. I think that could be pretty cool. But I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be. Okay, so now we're putting some pieces on top here just building. This is pretty straightforward of a build. I'm not expecting any bells and whistles on this one, any kind of weird mechanics to it. I know that like parts pop on and off, so that's kind of cool. So I'll be looking out to make sure I do that right, and then making sure that just everything comes together and looks cool. And blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. Is thinking about building with Baer, but that would mean that I would be running with Eric Pope. We'd be running League of Heels, and I'd be running merchandise for that and doing that part of the job, which is a lot. We learned a lot doing this last one, so I'd be doing that. Plus, I would be running 404ing it and improvised postmortem. And then if I'm adding Build with Bear Workshop, that's a lot. It's just like a lot for what is also my vacation. So it's like, do I not want to do improvised postmortem? Well, it was a big hit at PAX West, and is also a relatively very simple show to produce compared to the other things I do. It's pretty straightforward as far as that goes, and people really like it. And then 404ing it is the thing that brought me to the dance. Very popular, but also always more popular at PAX East than it is at PAX West. So maybe I don't want to do it at PAX West if it's a lot of work and people don't really appreciate it as much. It also, I'm always pretty open about this stuff when I'm chatting with everybody and letting them know. This last one came together really hot. I think we talked about it during the show where everyone got to me very late. And it was the thing that I was like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing like this last minute stuff while I'm at a convention. I don't want to be working on the panel that I'm running at the convention. So that was kind of frustrating. So maybe taking a break from that wouldn't hurt me. Anyway, that's all stuff that I'm like thinking about. Those are the thought processes right now. Haven't come to a decision about anything. I actually am in a conversation right now with a company to maybe sponsor Build with Bear Workshop in order to offset the costs of kits. And if that happens, for PAX West specifically, if that happened, then I definitely would go forward with it, because if somebody's like picking up the bill for kits, then I can do something really cool with that. That would like really make it an easy choice. I don't know. All right, let's get. We're going to keep building stuff. So yeah, throw a Bear Cave emote in there. Somebody renewed their subscription, but I don't know who, which is very nice. Yeah, Waffles. It would be helpful if somebody who getting a little bit of help via some sort of money to buy the kits that I'm building. So if I'm going to have 3 guests compete, that's 3 kits plus a certain number of flair items for them to personalize. That that adds up. It's not inexpensive, certainly. But so I have been thinking about that as far as PAX West goes. Hello, Jim Biggins. Welcome to the Bear Cave. All right. So let's build. Flip it back over. These modern kits are I do occasionally miss a step here and there, but I mean they tell you exactly what you need to do, and they're very good about pretty much telling you where you need to be. It is very helpful. Occasionally you get steered wrong, 2, so 2, 4, 2. But for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't require a whole lot of thinking, which is nice, because it means that I can chat with y'all. So yeah, if there's anything on your minds you want to chat about today, I'll kick off the conversation, and we can always jump around to whatever. Yeah, well, Waffles, so the basic thing is that I could do a fundraising thing, but I don't feel right this year. This is actually the 1 year anniversary of me running a Kickstarter so that I could go to PAX West last year, because my financials were not at the right place last year for me to be able to go by myself, and I really wanted to go. So I did run a Kickstarter for that. And then this year, didn't know what I was going to do. Maybe League of Heels would do something. We weren't quite sure if we were going to do any of that before the merch came out. But I did run a GoFundMe in order to buy the computer that I'm using to stream right now, because my desktop died right before I went to Boston. So I've done a fundraising campaign this year, and I don't feel right, or feel like it would be super beneficial to me anyway, to run another campaign so soon after that. So basically, I wouldn't run one in 2018. 2019, who knows? Something could happen. It might make sense. But as of right now, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to do that. There's some thought about that I might, at the end of this year, run a campaign so that I can go to PAX South, because I really want to go to PAX South, but I don't think I could afford to go on my own right now. But I would really like to go to PAX South again, because I really enjoyed it. But I don't know. So yeah, so right now it makes more sense for me to not do a fundraising campaign. But if I could do something with a sponsor for 404ing it, to offset the cost of doing, not 404ing it, I should say, offset the cost of doing Build Bear Workshop as a panel, that seems to be like a reasonable thing. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Just caught the mute in time. Whew, that was a there was a lot there. That sneeze came out of nowhere. My allergies have been bothering me. But knock on wood over here, have not had a coughing fit yet, which is pretty great. But yeah, I haven't run a thinking about running a campaign, but right now I haven't. Okay, so we got this gun here, which can turn around and move around a lot. That's the weapon. Put that there. We're gonna put this aside for a moment. Work on more. We're still in bag 1 here. Going through bag 1. I'm going to reply to my tweet. See if I can, a little light tonight. Maybe a few more people want to pop in. Maybe a few more people want to pop in the chat. But yeah, it's a little light this evening as far as viewers go. We did better on Thursday. Thursday, as you know, was our first starting the stream at 9 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. Eastern. I thought it went pretty well. But yeah, a little light tonight. Hopefully a few more people will pop in. But I'm having a good time with it, as always. Comic Girls. Watched episode, the most recent episode of Comic Girls, and it was the best episode yet. I'm really starting to really like that show. It is my favorite show of this season, which is not saying a lot because this is kind of a weak season overall as far as I'm concerned. Some people really like the shows they're on right now. I'm not digging them as much. But yeah, overall, this episode was really solid. It was like a 2-part thing. It was like an A plot and a B plot, or like really 2 mini plots as a full episode, which is not uncommon in 4-panel manga adaptations like this is. So the first part was like them going to the beach and kind of their friendship. and the second part was a lot more of their friendship and a little bit of relationship stuff, which I thought was handled pretty well. Um, One of the characters, it's like four girls that live in a dorm. One of the characters writes a lot of um, like adventure stuff, like fantasy stuff that dudes read, and so people think that she's a guy because she's pretty like masculine. Um, and one of our characters who's new to the world of manga is has feelings but is unsure, but also has been told by her editor that she needs to like get a boyfriend so she can write more stories about relationships. So they kind of go like a mock date, but is it a mock date or isn't it a mock date? And their friends are there, and it's very cute. And I think the biggest reason why this episode of Comic Girls worked as well as it did is because it um, didn't have too much to do with one of the main characters. Oh, Johnny, you're back. Welcome. Sorry you lost connection there. Yeah, one of my biggest problems with the show in general is that Kaus, who's like the main girl who's trying to write comics about like girls, in school, is kind of a loner and has a very poor opinion of herself. So she like she's very depressed, and she's like anime depressed. So she's like you want to root for her, and you want her to get better and do better and be better, but you're also like, okay, what the fuck? But she's like trying. She's trying really hard. She's just like, it's a lot. So it can be an overwhelming character that occasionally is too much. But that she was toned down a bit in this one, which was good. It was about a lot of the other characters, which I appreciated this far into the show. Overall, I enjoy it though. I mean, I like a good. Y'all know me. You know who I am and what I'm about. You know that I like slice of life stuff that's fun and maybe silly and focus on friendship and relationships and people trying and doing well. So I'm excited for Kaus to do better. I think she's got it in her that she could do better, and so hopefully that'll happen. I don't know for sure if it will, but or if like she'll if she's gonna have any growth in the show. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid anime. Um, I think I might be ready to binge My Hero Academia. I've been letting the episodes build up, and I think it might be time to dive in and watch a bunch of them. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything that I'm watching regularly. I kind of tapered off the other shows that were on. Really, I am watching Gigi no Kitaro, and that's still really good. I don't have anything really to say about it. I mean, it's like demons and monsters from another world, and some of them are very, very stupid, and some of them are legitimately like kind of scary. And Kitaro is weird, and his fucking father, who's just a big eyeball guy, or tiny eyeball, I should say, a regular size eyeball, but a man, is weird, and it's weird, and I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's odd, but I do enjoy it. All right, so we're gonna put on here. We're building this up, getting some height on this kit. It's pretty cool. And then we just put these pieces here. A little bit of color, not all just gray. I like that. I came in just in time for anime talk. You just watched all of Aggressive Go, and I really wish there was more. I know I've watched it. I'm going to put this into my. Oh yeah, now I remember. I'm like, what? Oh yes, it's good. It's a really solid show. I don't know if there's gonna be more of it, but I think it's a fun Sanrio thing. There's so many Sanrio. There's like 400 Sanrio characters or something. It's nonsense. It's good nonsense, but That's complete nonsense when I read that. Of course, my favorite Sanrio character is Bats Maru because he's a penguin with an attitude. Um, and that feels like the most 90s thing you could make for Sanrio. If you were like, well, it's the 90s, what if we had a bat named Bats Maru? Um, hey, so I'm dropping some frames here. Uh, oh, wow. This is bad. I am going to disconnect and then start the stream again. You might have to refresh. I apologize. Oh no, look, no, things look good. Okay, all right, things look good. So I'm not going to do that. I had a weird hiccup over here, which is very odd because one thing about this is that it's been consistent. Um, my wired connection is usually pretty good, so knock on wood over here, it stays good. But sorry if that got weird for anybody. Obviously, those watching on VOD should not have had any issue, or those watching on YouTube later, specifically watching on YouTube because I just record uh, from source and I don't use the Twitch version. There's nothing extra on the. People ask me occasionally, it's like, is there any different or extra? The only difference is that I hit record right before I start, where I stream and then let the stream run for a couple of minutes. That's literally the only difference between the YouTube and the Twitch. That's it. Oh, speaking of Netflix, if you have Netflix, some blips, but looking good now. That's good to hear, Jim. Thank you for letting me know. If you have Netflix, I highly recommend John Mulaney's new special. It's really, really good. John has command of such a large venue, which is incredible. And I should say that John Mulaney is a very nice man. He's a good guy. I am a fan. I haven't seen him in quite some time. His now wife. Then at the time I last saw him, they were still they were engaged. Did a show at UCB not too long ago, and he watched from the tech booth with me, which was real fun because we got to like chat and talk, and it had been a while because he lives in Los Angeles and tours all over the place and is a busy gentleman, and I haven't seen him in a bit, so it was fun to catch up with John. But yeah, I recommend the special. Oh yeah, that Steins Gate prequel. I haven't watched that either. Uh, it's like, is that a prequel or a side story or a reimagining, a reboot? I can't remember what that was. But I haven't checked it out either. Um, yeah, and like I said, I've been waiting on My Hero because I really enjoy binge watching that show. So, um, I can't even tell you the name of the show that I watched. Like, I tried to watch a clip. It was like an older show. I think Funimation had put out before that I was. Oh, I should be doing this over here. I apologize. I was doing this. You couldn't even see me build. Sorry about that. I really get. Yeah, I got to do a brighter light over here. It's getting pretty dark on my build space. So I apologize for that. Um, yeah, I watched something that I had seen a clip of that looked like it might be fun, but um, I forget the name of it. But I don't know. It was just like meh. Uh, so Drew says so far it's pretty good, a bit slow, but I like it because it's really character focused right now. Okay, I might have to check that out. All right, so we got our first decal, which we are going to apply here. The nice thing about these decals, as I've said, is it's not impossible to remove them if you mess it up. So basically, this is like we're making this piece here some sort of display monitor by adding this sticker to it. So we will. It's not perfectly straight, but I'm okay with that. It's good enough. I'm pretty okay with that. And then we'll add some flare to it. Not flare, but a couple more pieces here. Okay. So I don't like stickers like this. The model kit we just built, no stickers on there. But decals I do like to try to put on because they are a little easier for the Lego to get on and off and to fix your mistakes. So actually, so that goes on there. And then you spin it around. Do the same on the other side. And I assume, are we putting a sticker on this side? Yep, I will be putting a sticker on this side here, which is sticker 1. Yeah, I mean, Steins Gate I liked. I don't think I loved it as much as you did, Johnny. So yeah, so I've been interested in what this series was going to be, but hadn't really heard anything from my friends who watch a lot of anime. So I'm actually surprised that I haven't heard anything. All right. All right, and then we will put on 2 more things here. But I'm glad you're liking it, Drew. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, so it goes on there. Making sure that I'm not missing any pieces. I definitely am missing some pieces here, so I missed a step. So now, luckily, caught that early enough to correct it. Just building this up here, building up our cockpit, I believe. The nice thing is, like, I remember what this looks like. I can look at the box. The box is right over here to my left, or my right, I should say. So I can look at it and kind of get a sense of what the Jakku Quadjumper looks like. But, like, I'm not super familiar with it, so it is like, I think this is right. Oh, I think I remember what this looks like. But it's not like, oh, I know for sure. And, it's not super familiar to me, but I do remember. All right. There. Got some extra pieces, looks like. That goes on there, and that goes on there, and I believe, yes, that is the end of bag 1. We did bag 1. We're going to move on to bag 2 in a moment. Not huge fans of, yeah. I would say, Johnny, like, for me, it's like, I mostly am interested in if there was more manga, right? Then like, yeah, I want more of it. If there was more story to tell, if they hadn't told all the stories in the anime because they just wanted to do 1 season, like I'm all up for that. Prequel stuff, new original stuff. I'm sometimes a little more. Like I'll say this, like last year I was very happy to have more new game because I think the original game is so good. But I was, New Game 2, I wasn't necessarily thrilled with. I was, there were parts that were just honestly disappointing. So, that happens. That's part of it. Let's see. Here's bag 2. So, we'll get into bag 2 and Noel in a moment. I always think it's weird when shows are like 10 episodes because I'm always like, you didn't even do 12? You did 10? It's such a weird thing. But even then, like Problem Children Are Coming to Our World is like the name of an anime whose Japanese name I don't know. That show, I think, wore out its welcome after the first arc. The second arc, which was like episodes 6 through 10 or 7 through 10, I was like, this isn't as good as the first part. So I contradict myself, but I am a man of contradictions on occasion. So anyway, it's time to mention that if you're not a subscriber, you have Amazon Prime, link your Amazon Prime with Twitch, get yourself Twitch Prime, give me that token, or you could use $5. That's one way to support me. You could also support me via Patreon. This is my Patreon here. Oops. Johnny, I'm not sure what's going on. That was weird. I believe that my Nightbot did not enjoy Caps Lock, Johnny, and I apologize for that. But that's weird, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that very much, Johnny. Obviously, that wasn't me. That was Nightbot overreacting. Anyway, I got my Patreon. I just hit over $100. I'm trying to get to 150 so I can stream 3 times a week. I have an Amazon wish list. Feel free to pop in the Amazon wish list. Buy something off that if you want to see me build it. Anything bought on that wish list jumps the line of kits I'm building. And then one-time donations can go to my coffee. And then, follow me. If you're not following me, give me a follow and hit the notification tab so that you can be notified when I'm streaming. Johnny, I'm sorry that you were given a timeout. I apologize for that. I don't know what happened there. Oh, you're trying to say FLCL is your favorite show ever, and ended up so scared that new seasons come out and won't live there. Yeah, I mean, FLCL is great, but it's also so weird. All right, so now I know that FLCL will mess with Nightbot, so I'm going to go and take care of that later. Y'all don't have to worry about it right now, but that's something for me to look at later. That's a bright yellow. Can't really see that on camera, but that is a very bright. I mean, that yellow is messing up my lighting. That's how bright it is. Very bright yellow. Got some red here. It's pretty bright. We got here Rob Ubi is now following. Thank you, Rob Ubi. Appreciate the follow. Let you know when I'm streaming. I mean, I stream now every Thursday and every Saturday from 9 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We are going to go another 32 minutes of stream. Maybe we'll finish off this bag. If not, we'll get pretty far in it. Right now, I'm just knolling by color. Got a bunch of different colors here. So we're doing that now. Separating by color and going to it. Both seasons are a sequel to the original Farm for Bennett takes on it. Has me interested. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I do like that when things aren't just like, here's more of the thing you liked. That is sometimes my favorite parts of when people make new shows or seasons. It's not just, well, let's continue the manga storyline. It's, all right, well, this was an original story, and we want to make more of it. What do we do? Sometimes that works great. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, the thing about, people talk a lot of mess about Sword Art Online, right? I happen to enjoy Sword Art Online, but I certainly don't have a lot of interest in the new Sword Art because it's like a reimagining of the second season, but it's a different character. It's basically like someone thought the best part of that season was the like MMO shooting part of it. That's not my favorite part of it. My favorite part is like the characters. Like, that's the stuff that I like about that show. Is like the characters that I like. It's not to me anyway. It's never been about like the setting in that show. So I don't really need to see a character I don't know, a new character who's like a young girl with a pink gun in that show. So it's like, that's not interesting to me. But if you're like, oh, we got another show for Sword Art Online, they go to another VR world, I'd be like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Maybe that's played out. Why does he keep going into these virtual reality worlds when terrible things happen in them? He's been trapped in 2 of them. Why would he keep doing this? 3 if you count the movie. Rob. So, I get this now and again. Let's see. So, Laid Back Camp was my favorite anime of 2018 so far. That is slice of life about young ladies who are really into camping, and they go on camping trips. It's very fun, really good series. I've talked about this on the show a lot. Um, that's a really good one. Flying Witch is awesome. It is so slice of life. It's just it's just like a witch who moves in with her cousin and in like the mountains so she can focus on being a witch, and it's a lot about like her dealing with like her cousins, and everyone's fine and everything's cool. That show's great. Um, I love New Game. There's 2 seasons of New Game out there, which is a workplace slice of life show about a bunch of women that work for a video game company trying to make a game. They'd already made games in the past, and it's working on the game, and it's from like the perspective of a new recruit, new art person, and her first job outside the workforce. She doesn't go to college. She joins this crew and designing a video game. New Game, that's incredible. Yeah, Rob, if you like New Game, yeah, you definitely. I'm trying to think of more workplace slice of life stuff. Um, what is the name of that one about the girls and the coffee place? Girls, Rabbit, Tea House, anime. I think. Uh. Oh yeah. Here it is. What is the name of this one? Tell me the name of this. Is The Order a Rabbit? Okay, yeah, that's the name of it, right? Yeah. The Order a Rabbit is a pretty cool slice of life about uh young ladies, and they all work at different like coffee houses in a small town, and it's very cute and very supportive, and it's a little weird. There's the soul of an old man was reincarnated into a bunny, which is discussed but not really focused on. I don't know. It's weird. That show is fun because it's like a workplace thing, but is also a bunch of very nice young ladies, and it's weird and fun. Um, yeah, so there's a bunch there. Yeah, I mean Johnny, I think like yeah, you got a bunch of new stuff to watch. Like I mean interviews with Monster Girls, right? Interviews with Monster Girls is like young ladies trying to figure out, going to this school, and they're different and weird. And the reason they're different and weird is because they're monster girls. Like there's a vampire and an ice woman and a headless horsewoman. So that's how they're weird. And they're trying to like navigate school. So like that's really fucking weird, but also great. I've never seen Space Brothers, so I don't know. I cannot answer that. I have not seen that show. All right, so we're working on our frame here. I don't know if we're going to finish this up, but we've nulled, we've separated our things into pieces so that we can build, and then we're just going to go to it. Yeah, I think Rob. Hopefully, some of that stuff is good. I am such a sucker for like Flying Witch. I think Flying Witch might be the most slice of life, nothing happens anime. Because like there's even like the hint that a character is interested in another character, like um, but like nothing comes of it. Like literally nothing comes of it. I will say this. I've always said this. One of the parts about Flying Witch that bothers me is there's a character in the opening song that only appears once in the whole show, and it bothers me so much that I kept waiting for that character to come back, and they never did. Because I was like, well, they're in the opening, they must come back, and they never did. And I was like, this sucks. But other than that, A+ show, really fun and cool. Um, I mean, yeah, even uh, How to Keep a Mummy, which is which gets the last two episodes get pretty fucking real, is still just like a cool show about a little tiny mummy, mummified creature that a guy takes care of, and then by doing that, a bunch of other stuff happens, and it's all weird and cool. It opens the door for a lot of other shenanigans to happen, and a bunch of cool creatures. Pretty dope series. That, like I said, gets almost out of nowhere really real. Oh man, Melancholy is that's a slice of life show, but like I don't know, that's so much more of like a suspense thing to me. I mean, it definitely counts as a slice of life, but it is so there's so much happening in that show. So much that happens in that show, so bizarre. And you're not trash for liking it. But yeah, like my my style of um, the things that I look for in, I should say, um, in slice of life is usually like, I like school stuff, I like workplace stuff, I like characters becoming friends or in deepening their friendships. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for in my slice of life things. Supernatural stuff that's not treated like it's weird, that kind of thing. All right, and then that goes like this, and that goes in here. And I assume at some point this will do something, but right now it's just a thing inside a thing. I put those in there. And I assume that there'll be a payoff because it, twists and turns. So that something weird will happen there. Oh, I guess we're gonna put that in now. Let's see what do you got to say here. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. Like I said, I know the kind of anime that I enjoy, and it's not necessarily for everybody, but it is stuff that I like. But I really do like. I like my slice of life to be kind of weird. Flip this back over. Put these on here. I've spoken about Drawfee before. Drawfee, which is employees of College Humor and Dorkly, which is under the same umbrella, do a drawing show. They have like a Twitch channel, which they use sporadically sometimes, and they also do a lot of videos on YouTube. Drawfee show. They did they have a series called Knockoffs where they like draw like knockoff versions of shows, but they did a new version of that where they drew fake Steven Universe characters based on the names of gemstones, and it's really really fun. I really recommend it. Drawfee's awesome. There's they do a D&D series. It takes forever for episodes to come out because it's so much work. That's really good. They kind of animate along to it. Bunch of really good stuff. Their knockoff series is really fun. They had a series where they had doing Pokemon and there are Marvel things. Like they'll bring somebody in who will be like, "Here's the name of a Marvel character," and kind of talk about it a little bit. But it's someone that they've never seen before, and so they're kind of like comedically figuring it out. Very funny, very charming, and also like very talented in a way that I'm like very jealous of. But yeah, I think I've mentioned it before, but I really do recommend uh, all of the Drawfee stuff. It's very good. But yeah, think if there's anything else I can recommend. Like I said, it's a little downer on the anime right now. I did try a bunch of stuff. It's just nothing stuck with me. I was kind of waiting for somebody to be really into something. Comic Girls, like I said, is probably my favorite thing right now. All right, put this bar on here. But yeah, I am excited about binge watching My Hero Academia when the time comes, which might be any day now. I think it might be time to be really invested in that. All right, so then we got to put this decal on. We got to put a decal on this. So we're gonna attach it. We're gonna attach the piece to the front of this, and then put the decal on instead of put the decal on just there. I think that's gonna work out the best. Yeah, Rob. I'm in a bit of a similar boat. I mean, I'm watching, like I said, I am watching Gigi no Kitaro, which I like, but I don't love. I'm actually an episode behind, and I'm not like stressed about that. I'll watch it when I watch it. But Comic Girls, yeah, I watched that yesterday and enjoyed it quite a bit. All right. And I'm going to try to redo this because I didn't really like how it turned out, so we'll try again. Nope. Alright, we'll try this wedge method. If I stick the decal onto the wedge, kind of leave it in place, and then I can kind of guide it where I want it. That's pretty good. Okay. I don't hate that. And then there it is. Couldn't find the piece I was looking for in it. I was like, not freaked out because I knew it had to be somewhere, but I was like confused why I couldn't find it. So that goes on there. And then we got this ball piece here. Goes on that. Alright, so that goes on. Wonder if there's a complete set of Akira. I mean, Johnny, I'm sure there is. I don't know if it's, the price you want to pay for it, but I'm sure you can find it. All right. I haven't read the Akira manga, which is the reason why I didn't talk to y'all about that. Okay, so at some point I can press this ball here, and then these pop out, and then if I pull it back, nothing happens. But so far that's all that does. So we'll learn more about that later. This seems to be one of the gimmicks of this kit, but I don't know quite yet what's going on with that. This didn't. Hello, Lashbrook. I think I said hello to you before, but in case I didn't, hello. Yeah, I think they hit an anniversary pretty recently and put out some stuff. So one of the things I was doing with my free time was last weekend I renewed my subscription for the WWE Network. So I went back and watched the Royal Rumble, not the greatest Royal Rumble, the 2018 January Royal Rumble again, and the Women's Rumble. It was very fun to watch those because I had seen them, but hadn't watched it in a bit. So it was fun to watch that again because I think both those Rumbles were very good. I mean, the Women's Rumble was like there were moments that were bad. There were a couple very poor kicks that were very unfortunately on camera. I think they weren't used to that. Some kinks to work out, but overall, pretty cool. I look forward to that being a tradition. Oh yeah, Lashbrook. I mean, Hogan coming back is the end of me supporting that company. I haven't been watching wrestling a lot. 2017 was me focusing on anime and kind of getting out of wrestling because I was kind of sick of it. Um, but for in general, I will say that yeah, I have no interest in supporting that company if they decide to continue to do business again with Hulk Hogan. Uh, because I support the concept of people growing and changing and learning, but at the same time, I I don't need to support people, and they don't need to go into business with them again. And so I don't need to support that. And I fully support speaking your mind with your wallet. So no thanks. I mean, yeah, there's other wrestling out there, Johnny, and some of it's very not Johnny, Drew and Lastbrook. Lastbrook, there's other wrestling out there. New Japan is a great product, and there's people that are doing really good work over there, and you can keep up with it live or shortly after the fact. You can follow along pretty easily. They make it pretty easy to be a fan of Japanese wrestling right now, uh, especially between all the dates they do with Ring of Honor and all that. Yeah, that's very true, Johnny. It's like it is important. It's important for to give people the attempt, to change, but you also don't owe them anything. You never owe people that. Oh, we're opening up there. There's our cockpit roof. That's pretty cool. And then we could put this on here. It's pretty. So that's our obviously. So you got your cockpit here. You lift that up, do whatever, or you can lift that up even more if you want to put figures in there. Pretty cool. And then we're gonna do another piece here. We'll keep going. We'll finish off. We're gonna finish off this bag. We go a little past 10:30. That's fine. It's a got a good little crew here watching. So if we go a little over 10:30, I'm not too worried about it. But yeah. I mean, yeah, Omega and Okada. I mean, Omega's the top of his game. Never been better. Uh, Okada is amazing. Uh, it's just like an exciting time in New Japan. New Japan has just been on such a great couple of years. I'd say like 3 years. It's been a while since I saw them live. Um, the last time they toured with Ring of Honor, I saw them. It was 2 times ago. It was a few years ago. It was before Kevin Owens entered WWE, so it's been several years because it was Kevin Stein's last match in Ring of Honor. So it was right before he went. It felt really good to be able to see that, and it was so it was part of a 2-night deal. They did Montreal and then they did New York, right? So AJ Styles, had finished up Impact, and people thought that it seemed like the storyline, or in reality, he had signed with Ring of Honor. And then he won the New Japan belt, and everyone was like, oh, he'll just lose that belt before they go back to Japan. That's kind of cool. That's good business. That's good storytelling. And then he fought, and then he won and retained. And then people were like, oh, he didn't sign with New Japan. He signed with New Japan, not Ring of Honor. And it was like a big goddamn deal. And it was a really great swerve for a bunch of smart marks. And it was just like an awesome night. 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 And it was just like an awesome And he took the title back to Japan with him. It was very cool. This was a few years ago, obviously, but it was a very cool story, and it was like cool to figure it out as it was happening. I mean, I think they're gonna give Kenny the belt because it makes sense to do, and I would say now I would agree with you that now is the time to do it. All right, so now we're putting this other piece on here, which we can lift up to get into the gunner back area, which is pretty cool. This is a cool kit. And then got one more piece to add, and then we are done with bag 2 and done with the stream just about. Finish a little early instead of staying a little late. So, okay. And it goes in there. And these are extra pieces, I guess. And then just goes on here. And this is almost like a canopy. So you can pull the oh, that's cool. I'll show you in the camera here. So there's a gun here, and you can pull that back and put this down. That's very cool. All right, yeah, so that's the end of bag 2. We got our extra pieces, as always some extra pieces. We'll pop those away. We got the, so the Quadjumper here we're building. Could put those pieces in there. And, yeah, we got more bags to build. I forget how many bags are in this. I think there's a 5-bag kit. This is a 4-bag kit, so we should finish on Thursday. It might take the whole thing. We might finish up a little early, but yeah, that's going to do it for our stream tonight. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Once again, if you don't follow, give me the follow, set your notifications so you get a message when I'm streaming. If you haven't subscribed, or if you let your subscription lapse, if you use Twitch Prime, check to make sure that you've renewed. It hasn't lapsed. Tell a friend about these streams. Rob, I'm happy to give you some anime recs. Enjoy them in good health. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this stream. So thanks for coming out and thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll be back Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will continue with this. We'll finish it up in the hour and a half, I assume. And then I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do a poll for the kits that I have to see what my $10 Patreon supporters want to see me build, because they get to vote on what I build next. And thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Bye-bye.